Hey, lovely. How are you doing today? Welcome to the Fit and Fuel by Faith podcast. Whether you're new or coming back, hello. My name is Stacy, your lovely host. Yes, I like to say lovely because I am lovely. And I know that because God made me lovely. And He also made you lovely out of His love. So, okay. Anyways, so today we're gonna talk about something, my friends. So are you ready to stick around? So have you ever been in the evening hungry and just snacking, and maybe you don't eat the right foods, and you've been doing the other things we've been talking about? You're working out, you're exercising, but you're not losing that belly fat. So today, my friends, we're going to talk about why late night eating triggers belly fats in perimenopause and what to do instead. Yes. So if you find yourself reaching for the cupboard, the cabinets, and eating those carbs, those sweets, those treats that are hidden somewhere in the cupboard, you know what I'm talking about. Well, that could be causing you to not release stored fat, and if anything, gaining more belly fat. So I want to share with you some things. You know, I have to say, I could be pretty strict, but I have found myself eating almost up towards 10 o'clock, just trying to get my calories in. And come to find out, that's not good either, because our body has a switch. I got the sun shining at me, right? So we're talking about circadian rhythm. You might have heard of that. What is circadian rhythm? It's when our bodies, we're in sync with the sunrise and the sunset, Mother Earth, nature, right? The sun rises, sun sets. We rise, we set, in a sense. We get up, we go to bed, we sleep, and a lot of things happen while we're sleeping, even though we're not subconsciously awake to it. Our body is like restoring, repairing, rejuvenating. And so there's a time and a place for everything, right? If you know your body, right? We need to know thyself. Like in the morning when you wake up, hopefully you're waking up when the sun rises. I sense the daylight, the sun rises, it's shining in me, shining at me in my face, and I'm like, good morning, Lord, from the rising of the sun to the setting. The name of the Lord is to be praised. Hallelujah. That's Psalms 113. Anyways, okay, so I love that when waking up to the morning light into the new day. And so we rise, our body starts waking up, and maybe sometimes you got to go to the bathroom. Like, there's a bowel movement that happens in the morning. So our bodies are like a machine. I don't say robotic, but they like they like consistency or rhythm. And so if you notice, like I know in the morning, I get up, I go to the bathroom, we do the same thing, right? There's that habit that we create. And also that our body's like, okay, I need to go to the bathroom. I need to flush out, whatever. It's a new day. And then we start our day. And there's so many ways to start our day. We could talk about it: prayer, exercise, fueling your body right. But anyways, I'm trying to get to how we set ourselves up for our day is going to affect our fat loss or fat gain. So when we rise, going back to that, our digestive, as the sun starts slowly rising, and you notice too in the sun in the evening, you can almost, I'm not telling you to look at it, but you can kind of almost look, if you have sunglasses, good sunglasses, polarized sunglasses, in the evening or the morning sunrise, it's more of an orange, right? It's a pretty orange settling color. And then as it starts rising, it's more yellow and brighter. It's getting hotter. And yeah, it's peaking. Same thing, our digestive system. You might wake up hungry, or you might say, okay, I need to eat. You start moving around. Your body's saying, okay, furnace is cranking on. It's on. But now we need to throw in the logs, the food, the fuel, just like a furnace. We got to throw in the logs and start burning because our body needs calories, right? Our body needs fuel. And how do we get the fuel? Through food, which equates to calories. It breaks down our body calories, fuel. Okay. So we're going to talk about is how we need to, I'm totally going off on my own here. I had some notes and stuff here. And so we're talking about the circadian rhythm and how it helps with insulin sensitivity, hormones, cortisol, sleep connection. So as I say, sun rises, we rise. Our digestive system is like saying, okay, we're getting moving here. We need food. We need fuel. And then the sun rises, you might notice you have a bigger appetite during maybe brunch, lunchtime. And then the sun starts coming down the other end, starts slowing down. Guess what? As we, human beings, our bodies, our system starts saying, okay, you know what? Evening is starting to come. We start shifting and things start slowing down. We don't need as much fuel and energy as we did when we were rising, because we had a day, we had whether a productive day, our body's saying, hey, we need fuel to get us through the day, whatever we do in our day. But when the sun starts setting, gets lighter, not as bright, not as hot, and the sun sets, goes to bed, whatever. We see this the next day. So our bodies are supposed to do the same thing. Our bodies should start slowly coming down, start resting. There's a whole nighttime routine that we could talk about, but we're talking about food here today, and how when the sun starts setting, we should eat a lot lighter throughout the day. So in a nutshell, you might have heard the saying, eat like a king for breakfast, a queen like for lunch, and then a pauper for dinner. Pauper is someone who's poor. So our biggest meal should be consumed, midday, maybe between 9 and, 2 or 3. And then, I want to say summertime, fall here. And the day is going to get lighter. And so maybe we need to eat even earlier. I'm having a hard time, believe me, I'm having a hard time changing and shifting my eating, because for years I've been eating between 7, 8, on the later side, 8:30, finishing up in the summertime. And then obviously in the wintertime, it gets dark at 4:35. So I'm like, I need to eat at 4 o'clock. Either way, it's finding that circadian rhythm and what works for you. So when we eat past that circadian rhythm, when the sun sets and our body's saying, okay, digestive system's slowing down, and we still keep eating, and we're eating our biggest meal here in America. Most people eat their biggest meal for dinner time and eat late in the evening. And then what do you do after you eat dinner? You're sitting around. Maybe you're watching TV. You're not doing much movement. And guess what? Our body just stores that food because it's saying, hey, I'm going to bed. I know what you're doing. I'm going to store this until another time that we need this, because it's time to restore, repair, and rejuvenate while we sleep. So chances are, if you're eating late at night and you're not seeing results, and you've done everything like I've done, right? Done all the stuff, the nutrition, adding the protein, the carbs and the fats and the fiber, exercising, strength training, doing your walking, all the things. So this is my last thing. Like I said to you previously, or an episode or two before, is that I'm being real here. I'm sharing my journey. And the reason why I'm sharing this, because let's say I was asking ChatGPT, I've done this, and that, and what's not working, what's the science about eating after 7? And I know this as a health coach, you shouldn't eat 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. You might have heard that. And that's so true. But sometimes it's hard because, I have a husband, you got family that do things, get home late, unless I eat it myself, and then I feed everybody else later. But, you want to sit together. So I guess this is the last straw, right? If this doesn't work, then I don't know what I'm not doing right. It's just my body, that stubborn fat, just whatever. Just accept it, right? So my goal is to try to eat, right now I'm recording this, it's already after 5 o'clock. And I'm already dang, I got to cook dinner and eat. Because my goal is, now that we still have the sun, not to eat any later than 6:30, 7, and as it gets darker, I'm going to have to be eating dinner by 5 o'clock at the latest. So it's a process, and it's okay, I'm going to eat. My husband's busy. I'll sit with him. Maybe I'll have a cup of tea or water so I can hang with him, talk with him. It's finding something you can do, because men could whatever, for everybody, you shouldn't be eating generally before bedtime. I guess that's for men or for women, because I shared this with my husband. He's like, but isn't that for everybody? I'm like, yeah, but it affects women in perimenopause more, because our body, our hormones, or everything here. So like I said, this is, okay, going into that, why is this different in perimenopause? Because our estrogen declines, insulin resistance, so then belly fat storage shifts. Common mistakes we make is carb-heavy late meals, night snacking on sweets or wine. So thank the Lord, I don't drink alcohol, so I don't have to worry about having that glass of wine in the evening to relax. But let me tell you, if you're that person who does it, that could be something right there you need to take a look, step back, and reflect on. Am I having a glass of wine after dinner around 7, 8, or 9 o'clock at night? Because that still has sugar in it and calories. So let's talk about strategies for better evening strategies here, my friend. So lighter, protein-focused dinners. So if you have to eat later, focus on protein, fiber-rich meals. You know, save the carbs for the morning, the afternoon when you're like active. Think about that, right? Carbs, again, we talked about this in the past episodes. Carbs are fuel. So think on focused protein, fiber, rich foods. Maybe a piece of salmon and broccoli. Keep it light. Earlier time restricted feeding if possible. Like I said, try to eat within half an hour before the sun sets. And then if you are craving snacks later in the evening, hormone-friendly snacks like Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, a turkey roll-up, hard-boiled eggs. I always boil hard-boiled eggs. I have like a dozen usually in the week, and everybody loves them. Or protein shake. So again, think of like protein. If you're going to go for that snack, not the sweets, not the treats. And I know you don't want to hear that because who doesn't like that chocolate in the night or that glass of wine, right? But if you're not getting the result, then try this, right? Try restricting your dinner time early, and then starting your day maybe earlier. So maybe you're eating like 8 to 6, something like that. Find a rhythm that works for you, and make sure you're hydrating and having a sleep routine. So maybe on top of all this hydrating, make sure you have a light protein. If you need a snack, protein first, and set your body up to lower the lights, candlelight dinners if it is getting darker and you're eating past the sunsets and it's dark. And just being positive about it, because I was stressed over the weekend and I gave my husband a hard time and got snippy with him because I didn't want to go out to dinner and it was late. I could see the sun and getting dark. I'm like, I don't want to eat. And I was having almost an anxiety attack at the restaurant. So I was like, first, I didn't have what I wanted. I didn't want this and this and that. And I'm like, oh, I just want like a good big piece of protein, white fish. And anyways, so I was like, man, I'm having some anxiety here. I got to figure something out. So anyways, don't be like me. I'm trying to share this up with you. So my friends, to wrap this all up, encouragement. It's not about perfection. It's about making small shifts that work with our hormones and not against them. So I could be here. We could talk about this. So in a nutshell, you just want to eat earlier, carb up and do all that stuff earlier in the day. Of course, obviously protein first. Always remember that. We talked about the hand visual plate, protein, carbs, and fats in every meal, and heavier meals throughout the morning and midday, and then lighter dinners. I know. So if you've been somebody who's been eating big dinners, you might want to switch, because sometimes people eat lighter and fast, intermittent fasting, and hardly eat breakfast. Well, for women, that's another thing that backfires, but that's another topic. So eat within an hour to an hour and a half when you rise and wake up. Fuel your body with the fuel it needs throughout the day. Move your body. Go for walks after your meals. And then dinner lighter, earlier, when the sun's setting. Probably no later than half an hour after the sun sets. Because like I said, your body's going to slow down, shut down, and then anything you eat is just going to get stored as fat. And so that's why I've come to the conclusion. Whether that works for you or not, this is my last straw because I'm doing everything else and I'm not seeing the results that I want. And I'm like, this could be maybe the missing piece because I am eating between 7 and 8 o'clock at night, or even later, 8:30. So, and I want to eat earlier because I could tell. I'm like, I want to eat early because I'd rather be in bed for 8:30. Yes, that's another topic about rest. So my friends, that is what I have for you today. Maybe I went on a little tangent. But if this helped you, share this with a friend in perimenopause and subscribe weekly to Faith Fueled episodes. And I also have, I've been leaving Tuesdays on my Instagram account, posting a slide pertaining to the topic. So go check that out. And also, I also been creating guides. So I created the Perimenopause Night Eating Fix. It has five simple shifts for better sleep, less belly fat, a faith-fueled wellness guide for women over 40. So I will put that in the link in the show notes. You can click on that, or if you're over my Instagram, you can just comment night and I will send that over to you, whatever way works best for you. So this has been really good. I'm kind of like, whatever I have a question about, that's the topic for the episode. that I'm going to share. Because like I said, this is real life. This is what I'm going through. And I'm sure most of you women are going through the same thing. So anyways, I love you. And yeah, remember though, Jesus loves you more. And yeah, just don't stress about it, because no matter what you do, you add the stress to it, it's not going to be a good combination. So I had to let go over the weekend and be like, hey, you know what? Relax. And of course, make more homemade meals than going out to dinner, because there's all those hidden little fats and things like that. And that's where I was getting stressed out, because like that night I got frustrated. I just wanted to have my protein shake, and I would have been totally fine eating light. My loved one wanted to go out to dinner, didn't want leftovers or anything. And I was just like frustrated, because it's like, I appreciate him taking me out and spoiling me. But at the same time, like, I just could drink my protein shake and I'd be content and happy. I don't need anything heavy, because I had a full breakfast and lunch and snack. So, anyways, I love you. Go out in the world, share love, make peace, be happy, glorify the Lord in your thoughts, words, and actions. Yes, and I'll see you next week. And make sure, if you haven't done so, please subscribe. Subscribe, right? Like and share with a sister who needs to hear this, because, yeah, this is something that I've been struggling with, and I'm sure many of us, you are struggling with as well. So stay positive, stay well. I'll see you next week. Mwah.